Okay, the snow cone machine has been found. Now we just need Toadette's new cotton candy machine. In the meantime, let's take a look at Princess Academy. Princess Academy was written by Shannon Hale and published on June 16, 2005. It was a Newbery Honor winner in 2006. That's this little symbol right here. I'm sure many copies today still have that. Also, yes, we are diving back into the works of Shannon Hale. My mother actually recommended I read Princess Academy when I was 10 years old, but I think I refused and wanted to read something else. It wasn't until after I had read The Goose Girl and had to make another book report when I was 12, I sat down and read it. I ended up finishing the whole thing in 4 hours. That was a crazy day. I hadn't picked this book up in a while, and I figured I'd read it for this month. The story takes place in the Kingdom of Danland, specifically on its territory, Mount Eskel, where the stone known as Linder is plentiful. There is a small village on the mountain populated by people who work in the Linder quarry. 14-year-old Miri Larendaughter lives in this village with her father, Laren, and her sister, Marta. Her mother had passed away a week after Miri was born. Miri has wished her whole life to work in the quarry with the other men and women, but her father forbids it on account of her being too small, although we learn the real reason was that working in the quarry was part of the reason her mother died. One day, a messenger from the lowlands comes to Mount Eskel to announce that the priests have divined that the crown prince's future bride lives here in the mountain village. In order to prepare the future princesses, all the girls aged 12 to 18 are required to attend a princess academy about a 3-hour walk away from the village. Then the prince will come to the academy at the end of the year and choose his bride from among the girls. Marta, being a few months older than the prince, is not allowed to attend. This leaves Miri to be the only one from her household to attend. 20 girls total are picked from the village and sent to attend the academy made entirely out of Linder. At the academy are 2 soldiers sent by the king, a man who takes care of the cooking, cleaning, maintenance, etc. named Knut, and a strict teacher that the girls refer to as Tutor Olana. The first few days are a little rough as the girls struggle to learn and behave, but over time, the learning does them some good. The girls are taught how to read and write. They are also taught the history of Danland and about commerce. Among those things, they also learn about poise, how to dance, and how to hold a proper conversation. During this time, Miri learns how to use quarry speech. Quarry speech is what the workers in the Linder quarries use to communicate with each other. She accidentally communicates with Gertie, one of the other girls, when she's abandoned in a closet and a rat is trying to make a nest in her hair. As the days pass, Miri eventually learns that quarry speech reaches the listener through Linder. Miri also ends up befriending a few of the other girls, including Britta, a lowlander who had recently moved to Mount Eskel. After a harsh exam in which only Miri and another girl, Katar, have passed, thus allowing only them to go home, Miri convinces all of the girls to leave the academy and run back home. Back at the village, the girls tell them about their harsh living arrangements and that they are forbidden from coming home if they don't do well. In that time, Miri also teaches the villagers about commerce, which helps them get Linder for its actual value instead of being cheated by the traders. After a wonderful spring holiday, the girls go back to the academy to negotiate better living conditions and weekly visits home. Unless there's a heavy snowstorm, we don't want anyone dying on the road out there. Alana accepts their terms and sends the soldiers back to the land below. While she did say they were there to prevent bandit attacks, bandits haven't been seen on Mount Eskel for years, as many fear the strong villagers. As their lessons progress, the girls learn better in the better living conditions. Eventually, it is time to announce the girl at the top of the class, the Academy Princess, who will be the first to dance with the prince. Miri is named Academy Princess. The day eventually comes when it is time to meet Prince Stefan. However, not all the girls get to meet him that night, as Britta has fallen ill. Miri gets to meet the prince, although he seems to behave with the same indifference toward all the other girls. The prince pulls Miri aside to get to know her better, and she scolds him for his behavior. While he is shocked that she dares speak to him that way, he understands her point and admits that she was the only one he enjoyed dancing with. Well, things get complicated further, as one day when Miri's taking a walk outside, her best friend Peter has come down from the village and believes that Miri wants the prince to choose her as his bride. And it seems Miri can't tell that Peter has been in love with her this whole time. As if things couldn't get any worse, bandits have invaded the academy after the prince and his soldiers leave. Miri tries to run, but the bandits catch up to her and bring her back to the academy, where she is held hostage with all the other girls. They can't reach the village since a snowstorm has begun, and they can't contact anyone since they're too far away. The bandits want to know who the prince chose to be his bride, but since he didn't choose anyone yet, they all claim he chose them. The bandits do decide to take all of them as hostages, but they can't do anything at the moment because of the blizzard outside. However, Miri manages to contact Peter through quarry speech and calls for help. Hours later, the villagers have arrived at the academy and the girls make their escape. Well, most of them. While the villagers definitely have the upper hand, the bandits still had some of the girls held hostage. Many of the bandits decide to leave since they fear the villagers and the mountain itself, but the leader, Dan, won't back down. Miri manages to break free from Dan's grasp by stabbing him with a Linder hawk that Peter carved for her and rolls off the edge of a nearby cliff. She doesn't fully fall as she grabs onto a cliff tree, but Dan, in his haste, runs right off the edge. While he did grab onto Miri and start to climb up, Laren throws his mallet right at Dan's head and he goes plummeting down to his death. The girls free Alana and Knut, who is injured. The villagers take them all back to the village as the rest of the bandits turn tail and run. When spring finally comes, the prince arrives back at the academy. It's here that Britta confesses that she knew the prince and that they grew up together. He would spend the summer at an estate near her father's home. Britta's father sent her to Mount Eskel because of the priest's prophecy. Britta has been worried that the prince won't even choose her. But she had nothing to fear, as he does choose her once he sees her at the academy. Miri finds out from the prince that Britta's father had told him of his plan to send Britta to live on Mount Eskel. The prince has been searching for Britta, but was disappointed to see she was not there and was upset to learn that one girl did not attend the ball. Well, at least now Britta and Stefan have found each other. All the girls are invited to their wedding and are considered graduates of the academy. Mount Eskel is also now a province of Danland instead of a territory. Well, Miri and the girls head home. Miri brings over some school supplies in hopes of running a school in her village. Peter walks her home and they admit their feelings for each other. Alright, let's analyze. At the beginning of each chapter in the book, there's a little song. They're meant to be quarry songs that the workers would sing in the quarry in order to communicate with each other. Each one seems to foreshadow what happens in the chapter. At least that's what I picked up. It also helps emphasize the importance of quarry speech throughout the story. Speaking of quarry speech, if you recall in my reviews of the books of Bayern, that there was a lot of references to the elements and speaking to them, but we had never seen anyone who could speak to stone. Well, in this case, it's through stone, but it's still fascinating to me. And it's not just any stone either, it's Linder, which is from the mountain itself. What's also interesting is that the quarry speech doesn't seem to affect lowlanders, as Britta, Alana, and the bandits weren't affected by it. The villagers say it's due to the Linder in their bones, as they are part of the mountain itself, but who knows for sure. Alright, you probably saw this one coming, but the book definitely covers the importance of education. The traders from the lowlands to the mountain village would trade supplies for Linder, and then go sell the Linder for its actual worth, since it was rare and valuable. However, thanks to Miri and the other girls learning the true value of Linder and how the villagers could get real money from the traders to spend at a nearby town, it prevented the traders from cheating them. This made the village more profitable and prosperous. Sometimes I wonder how different this story would be if it was from Britta's perspective. I understand why it was from Miri's perspective, since I'm sure the author wanted the focus to be on the village and how important education was to the villagers. However, Britta went through quite a journey. She had to live with people who she claimed were relatives and had to pretend her father was dead. Plus, she definitely had all those worries about Stefan and whether or not he would actually choose her over the other girls. Her poor confidence must have taken a hit after seeing the other girls. Now, I want to talk a little bit about Qatar. Qatar hates her life in the mountains since she feels unwanted. This is why she poured everything into her studies so she could leave the mountain forever. I believe Qatar is supposed to be there as a foil for Miri. Miri too believed she was unwanted since her father never told her the real reason why he didn't want her working in the quarry while her sister got to. However, Miri knew that her father loved her. Qatar, it seems, didn't get that. However, when Britta wants a delegate from Mount Eskel and asks Miri to do it, Miri instead recommends Qatar. We see that Qatar was more happy to take on the position as it meant she didn't have to live on the mountain anymore. Overall, this is still a really fun story to read. I enjoyed it immensely. It's also easy to read. Plus, the reader gets to learn about this world along with the girls. I always liked that about books that take place in a school. I would recommend this book for ages 12 and up. While the book is pretty long, it does have a decently sized print, which allows readers to get through the story at a reasonable pace. This book later got 2 sequels in 2012 and 2015. Palace of Stone is about Miri's time in Aslant, the capital of Danland, learning about the kingdom and realizing that not all is well in the lowlands. The Forgotten Sisters is about Miri's time teaching 3 royal cousins as they prepare to marry a king. I do remember when both came out, and I did enjoy Palace of Stone, but not as much as the first book. The Forgotten Sisters did have some good elements to it, but in my opinion, it felt like some stuff that was established in the first 2 books was changed. I have no intention to review either for Masters of Literature, but if there is demand for it, I might look into it. Princess Academy itself did get a couple stage adaptations. It was adapted into a play in 2015 and later into a musical the following year, which featured Scandinavian folk music referencing the Scandinavian inspiration for the story. I haven't seen either, so I can't say if I recommend them, but I'm sure there are recordings out there somewhere. I remember many of my own friends reading Princess Academy and enjoying it immensely. I hope you all will get to enjoy it as much as I did. Happy Daisy Month, everyone, and happy reading!